I have not read this report, so good luck to us all. But this came out. A Dassault Aviation Mirage F1 in Panama City, February 25th, 2021. I remember this day. We were at Eggland back then. So during takeoff roll from the runway equipped with a raised arresting gear system, the pilot of the turbojet-powered fighter plane noted no discrepancies upon reaching 100 knots. And before the airplane had reached a raised aircraft arresting gear system that was present across the runway, which is standard. Tyndall always had that, right? Takeoff roll continued to about 125 knots, which was just after the airplane had crossed the arresting system. The airplane suddenly swerved left as the airplane neared the left edge of the runway. It became airborne. While airborne orbiting near the airport, the front and rear seat pilots reviewed the applicable checklist procedure checklist, emergency procedure checklist. English is tough. Discussed possible system failures and had pilots from another airplane provide a visual check of the accident airplane's landing gear. Based on the information provided and lack of an enunciation of any problem with the nose wheel steering system, the pilots attribute the sudden swerve to an issue with the left main landing gear. Although there was some discussion about a hard over of the nose wheel steering system, the pilot left it on, planned to turn it off if the airplane veered during the emergency landing. They burned down fuel and then landed on the right side of the 200-foot wide runway. After touchdown, the airplane veered to the left, traveling off the runway and onto the grass infield. The nose gear collapsed. The rear pilot initiated an unannounced ejection.
It seems to be popular these days.
Which should have resulted in the front seat also ejecting. However, the rear seat ejected successfully, but the front seat did not. The airplane came to rest, and both pilots sustained serious injuries. A post-accident examination of the nose wheel steering system revealed that the annular bearing of the distribution block fractured in overload with no evidence of pre-impact failure or malfunction. The fracture likely resulted from traveling over the raised arresting gear system at a high speed, a shock from which traveled from the nose gear into the distribution block, resulting in a fracture of the bearing brace. I'm guessing that's supposed to be a brace. Because of the fractured bearing, is it race? Okay. Twice. It's me. The distribution block commanded a left turn consistent with the condition reported by the pilot during takeoff. Although the airplane checklist for a failure of the nose wheel steering did not include loss of control during takeoff, it is likely that had the nose wheel steering been disconnected upon landing when the nose wheel touched down, directional control would have been possible using differential braking for directional control. Authority and airplane likely could have been stopped safely. Post-accident examination of the front seat pilot's ejection seat determined that it did not eject from the airplane because of impact damage to the aircraft structure that secured the lower ejection seat gun mount, which resulted in movement of the seat and subsequent separation of a gas line from the rear seat to the front seat, which made ejection of the front seat impossible. Oh, my God.
Yikes.
The probable cause is he went over the arrested gear.
The donut.
Why is there more? Why is there more? We just talked about everything. Oh, yeah. There's more. Is there more?
This is like the.
Oh, this is what all the. We don't need to read all this.
No.
Yeah, I mean, we got.
You're in the summary, right?
Yeah,
we got enough.
I think you got the summary.
We got 10 pages, man. We don't need all this.
No, basically, hit the donut, broke the bearing.
Well, previous similar event, according to the operator of the accident airplane in May 2020, an industry competitor flying a similar make and model experienced a loss of directional control during takeoff that was attributed to having traveled over a raised arresting gear system. As a result of the event, the operator of that aircraft prohibited crossing raised arresting gear systems with nose wheels at high speed. The operator of the accident airplane was not aware of the event. And so now they say don't do that anymore.
NTSB did not investigate that first event. It said in there. That's interesting.
It didn't result in the loss of the aircraft.
Yeah.
Does that one have the pictures mover?
That does not, sir.
Yeah, there's some pretty good pictures of them showing, no kidding, that donut, how it would break the bearing.
You're talking about the things that would hold the. So that's what they hit. It wasn't going over the wire. It was they hit.
He hit the donut and the shock wave, the shock from that.
Unlucky day.
Yeah, so just this past week I was at drill and I was talking to one of the greatest air-to-ground A-10 pilots I know, and he was flying the MU-2 that day, and he said that they chased the Mirage because they had directional control problem, and like airborne, it looked fine. And he said the MU2s landed, and those dudes landed behind him, and they got out of the MU2, and holy cow, they ejected, off the side of the runway. But
what wasn't the guy? Now this is pure speculation. So again,
that's where this gets good. I'm in.
I thought when I remember hearing about this, the guy who stayed in the jet was better off than the guy who ejected. You remember that?
I
think in the report.
I think it was if the dude in the front would have ejected, he would have died or been injured because of the damage, I think, sustained to the airplane. I think.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like I remember hearing that the guy. I mean, thank God they both survived, but
sure.
I thought that the guy who actually got out was the one that was more seriously injured. Yeah. Yeah. When the airplane came to rest, the pilot secured the engine but was unable to get out of the airplane.
Yeah, he's hurt.
Yeah, I think the backseater actually ended up worse off. But there you go. Don't fly old French jets.
Well, dude, don't hit. Even flying the 38, flying the horse, it doesn't matter what I was flying. You miss the donuts, man. Mainly because if you hit them, it'll knock the gear out of battery. So
that's the only reason I would miss them. I didn't think about it from this, but and again, everything we flew, the gear was so beefy.
Not the T-38. I didn't
fly that.
Oh yeah.
So I flew man's plane.
Okay, all right. Well, the child.
Okay. I would like the seat to work. That
is preferred in an ejection seat aircraft.
I would like, I mean,
but granted,
there's less of a lurch here,
right? That's why,
the gas tube between the two seats damaged, and it didn't fire.
Right.
So
that's crazy, man. Like, to think about that, like, how tough would it be to go back up flying one of those after you were in a plane that you couldn't eject out of but survived?
I don't know if he went back flying, man.
I don't know if he did either. I mean, just from a mental standpoint, like, somebody's trying to tell you it's time to.
All right,
operator.
We've lost control yet again.